Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for standing by for RYB Education Inc.'s second quarter 2020 earnings conference call. At this time, all participants are in listen-only mode. After management's prepared remarks, there will be a question and answer session. Today's conference call is being recorded. I will now turn the call over to your host, Serena, Investor Relations Manager for the company. Please go ahead, Serena.
Thank you very much. Hello to everybody on today's call. Today on the call are Ms. Yanlai, our co-founder, director, and chief executive officer, and Mr. Hao Gu, our chief financial officer. Our earnings press release was issued earlier today through Newswire services and is also posted on our investor relations website, ir.rybbaby.com. On our website, you will also find a webcast replay of today's call. Please note that the discussion today will contain forward-looking statements made under the Safe Harbor provisions of the U.S. Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. Forward-looking statements involve inherent risks and uncertainties. As such, the company's actual results may be materially different from the views expressed today. Further information regarding these and other risks and uncertainties is included in the company's annual report on Form 20-F for the fiscal year ended December 31st, 2019, and other filings as filed with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. The company does not assume any obligation to update any forward-looking statements except as required under applicable law. During this call today, management will also discuss certain unaudited non-GAAP financial measures for informational purposes only. The company's second quarter 2020 earnings press release contains a reconciliation of the unaudited non-GAAP measures to the unaudited most directly comparable GAAP measures. Now I'll turn the call to Ms. Xu for her to take us through a review of the second quarter and provide updates on the business.
感谢大家今天加入我们第二季度的电话会啊。今天呢，我将回顾公司在2020年二季度的业务情况和运营表现。后面呢，将由公司的 CFO 顾浩来对财务数字进行详细的介绍。
Thank you to all of you who have joined us today. I'll begin by reviewing our business and operating results for the second quarter of 2020. Then our Chief Financial Officer, Chris, will follow with a more detailed review of the financials.
第二季度面对新冠疫情的持续影响，我们采取了多项举措，包括保证学生和家庭的健康安全，削减人工成本和非必要性的开支。此外呢，我们还持续的推进了公司的数字化的战略，保持老师和家长孩子间的良好沟通，进一步建立和加强我们服务儿童的系统性的早教解决方案。
During the second quarter, in the face of prolonged facility closure due to impact of COVID-19 pandemic, we've taken various actions to mitigate impacts, including measures to ensure the health and safety of the students and families, and optimize personnel and control discretionary spending. Moreover, we continued efforts in our digital transformation, maintained ongoing communication with parents and students, and furthered actions to build out and strengthen our comprehensive early childhood education solutions.
公司的数字化战略方面呢，我们在二季度继续发力，提升线上服务能力，确保孩子在无法回园的情况下，依然能够获得优质的学前教育内容，助力孩子健康快乐成长。继今年一季度我们启动幼儿园的付费课程平台后，我们在本季度呢着力于丰富该平台上的课程内容，同时也面向部分的红黄蓝体系内的学生和家长进行试点推广，现阶段反馈是很理想的。各地园所呢陆续恢复运营，有助于我们进一步践行课程和教学线上线下结合的新模式。我们相信课程内容平台的搭建和完善不仅有助于红黄蓝更好的升级服务品质，还为今后探索体系外推广奠定了基础。
In terms of our digital strategy, in the second quarter, we continued to enhance our online service capabilities to ensure that students would have undisrupted remote access to high-quality at-home learning resources and to a good collection of early childhood education content. Following the initial launch in the first quarter of our paid course platform for kindergartners, during the second quarter, the team further added content offerings available on the platform. we simultaneously carried out a pilot promotion of this platform for enrolled students at some directly operated kindergartens, and their parents provided positive feedback. With the help of this platform and most of our facilities across regions back to normal operation over time, we'll push forward the online merge offline practice for learning at the kindergarten level. While still in its very early stage, I believe this platform will help us better upgrade our service quality as part of our digitalization efforts in kindergarten services. With a complete and polished content platform fully established in the future, we look forward to exploring its potential to be adopted across market.
公司持续地推进服务输出平台搭建和0到3岁的托育业务。我们完成了面向幼儿园和亲子中心进行服务输出的业务规划和团队搭建。未来呢，计划利用线上线下结合的模式实施服务输出。相信这将促进优质的内容、标准化的管理体系和富有针对性的督导培训服务提升，以产品化、体系化的方式输出给外部园所，助力行业发展的同时获得新的增长点。
We also worked on initiatives including kindergarten and play and learn center service management and early years childcare services. We completed planning for service management model for third-party kindergarten and play and learn center operations. We plan to leverage our integrated online merge offline model and expand existing services by this service management model. Through this service management model, we can deliver high-quality content, standardized management systems, and targeted training to a broad range of facility operators in a systematic manner with modularized offerings. We believe this can also help reinvigorate the industry.
我们的托育业务在经过将近3年的研究筹备，以及课程和团队磨合后，推出了面向3岁以下婴幼儿的新品牌。过去几年间呢，我们在课程、培训、管理、保教医三者结合方面形成了完善的内容和实施方案。自2020年今年第2季度开始，托育业务呢也取得了这个良好的反响。那么我们已经启动并计划继续开展一系列的推广活动。相信在国家政策鼓励和支持的大环境下，结合公司优势的渠道能力，我们的托育业务呢将进一步丰富和夯实公司的0到6岁儿童综合服务体系。
In addition, we kicked off our early years childcare business, an initiative for children under 3-year-old and for which we have been doing market research, developing educational content, and assembling a team of expertise for the nearly 3 years. We've gradually accumulated experiences and certain know-how in curriculum, staff training, facility operations and management, and in building a program with special considerations to combining care, education, and medical care and treatment. Starting in the second quarter of 2020, we have launched and plan to continue a number of promotional events for our early years childcare business, given its positive early reception. With a supportive policy environment for early years childcare services, along with our core strengths and network presence, we're confident to see further growth in this service unit and it becoming an integral part of a refined and expanded service offerings for 0 to 6-year-olds.
下面呢，我想谈一谈对我们的2项核心业务的推进工作，一个是幼儿园，一个是亲子园。
Now, let me share some insights on our kindergarten and play and learn center business.
首先呢，也是很高兴的告诉大家哈，截至第2季度末呢，公司75%在中国和新加坡地区的直营幼儿园以及70%以上的加盟亲子中心已经陆续恢复开园，且学生返园率呢达到了我们的预期，的确很不容易。
First, I'm pleased to report that by the end of the second quarter, 75% of the company's directly operated kindergartens in China and Singapore, and over 70% of franchise play and learn centers had resumed operation. Student attendance rate has been satisfactory and met our expectations.
这充分说明了学生和家长对我们的信任，我们也将不遗余力地继续坚持严格细致地执行相关部门的各项防疫要求和措施，始终重视将学生和家庭的健康安全放在首位。
This number reflected the loyalty of the families we serve and trust from parents in us in the reopening process. As we always put the health and safety of our students as the highest priority, we'll continue sparing no efforts to meticulously follow pandemic prevention guidelines and implement measures and requirements issued by related governing departments.
接下来呢，我来谈一谈直营员9月新学期的招生进展情况。疫情出现以后呢，我们积极主动地采取了线上线下结合的招生方式，通过园所的公众号、园所的微服务等平台，保持与在园学生家长、缴费未入园家长以及潜在学生和家长的有效的持续的沟通。不懈的沟通呢，不仅协助家长及时了解园所情况，而且也有助于提高报名率。在已经复原的且就情况允许的地区呢，我们通过安排线上咨询招生推广以及线下园所参观相结合的方式开展。而未复原的部分地区，我们采取的是全面线上招生策略，借助一些技术工具安排线上园所参观、网上推广等方式来推动招生活动的开展。
Next, onto the enrollment of our directly operated kindergartens for the upcoming semester starting this September. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, we have proactively introduced ways of enrolling students via both online and offline channels. Through kindergarten-specific official accounts and facility service apps, we keep effective and continuous communication with parents. This includes those whose children have already started attending, and those who have enrolled their children but have not yet started, in addition to prospective students and parents. Our communication efforts not only keep current parents updated regularly of the kindergarten operation, but also have potentially contributed to a boosted ratio of referrals. For facilities that have resumed operations, we host a hybrid of online consultation and offline site visits for parents. For those that have not yet resumed normal kindergarten operations, we adopt a fully online enrollment marketing strategy, and with the help of technological tools, arrange online virtual site tours and online promotions.
从另一方面来讲呢，招生工作实际上也是我们服务工作的一部分。通过友好而且高效的招生方式呢，我们营造了温馨温暖的这个园所氛围，这对前期吸引家长了解园所十分重要，也为开园以后的来园相关工作、报名转化奠定了重要的基础。
Enrollment and admissions-related efforts are also an integral part of the services we provide. Through a friendly and efficient recruitment process at the kindergarten, we instill a welcoming atmosphere that is important in the early stages of engaging potential parents, laying the foundation for future visits and better leads and conversion rates once normal operation is resumed at those not yet reopened facilities.
从结果来看呢，大部分已经开园的直营园所的招生工作都达到了年初预算的预期，但我们的相关工作呢也没有止步，我们会更加主动的推动园所招生活动的持续进行。
The enrollment results at most of our directly operated kindergartens have met our expectations compared to our internal annual budget made at the beginning of this year, and will continue to make smooth progress. We intend to carry on with more proactive enrollment activities.
针对今年的暑假，我们的园所制定了丰富而且充实的假期方案，比如通过线上线下融合的方式开设小有衔接课程、毕业季的专项活动以及消夏主题活动。我们希望借此提升各地的暑期出勤和各园所的财务表现。
Moreover, our kindergartens have planned for an eventful summer vacation. For example, we offered preschool bridging courses, special graduation activities, and summer theme events through the integration of online and offline resources. By doing so, we hope to increase summer attendance and financial performance for our facilities.
下面我来介绍我们的加盟亲子中心的情况。截止6月底，我们的加盟亲子中心复原比例大约是70%，我们预计到8月底这个比例将能达到90%。
Moving on to our franchise Play and Learn Center business. As mentioned previously, as of the end of June, we saw approximately 70% of franchise PLCs reopened, and we expect to see 90% total reopening by the end of August.
由于疫情影响 ，2020年上半年亲子加盟中心的拓展确实受到了很大的影响。随着疫情逐步向好，自2季度开始，我们逐步恢复了亲子业务的线下招商推广工作。我们有信心凭借内容优势、规模优势以及和盟商长期良好的合作关系，提振新的潜在投资者信心，持续拓展我们的加盟网络。另外呢，针对已复原的盟商，公司积极主动地和他们沟通，提供更多的培训督导相关工作，提升盟商的粘性和参与度。我们有信心和加盟伙伴一起努力使亲子中心重新开业后逐步恢复正常的运营水平。
The sudden outbreak of COVID-19 and the pandemic casted impact in our franchise network expansion in the first half of this year. We've seen gradual improvements as franchise network expansion efforts started to resume in the second quarter. We believe we're well positioned to win more market interest and expand our franchise network through leveraging our core strengths in content, existing network, and our long-standing relationship with our franchisees. We'll continue our communication with current franchisees and provide additional training and supervision support in order to enhance their loyalty and engagement levels. Together, we're confident that our franchisees will be able to achieve normal operational levels after their Play and Learn centers reopen.
此外呢，我们继续发力推进亲子业务的线上线下相融合的教学模式。之前的季度呢，我提过，爱乐成长 APP 呢是一款利用在线服务平台提供高质量的教育内容和产品的家庭教育应用。作为公司线上线下模式探索的一部分，已经有了30多万的注册用户，不仅有力推动了亲子互动和家庭教育的效率和效果，同时也为我们的盟商提供了更多与家长和孩子互动的机会，从而有助提升会员的粘性。
In addition, we continue to strengthen the online merge offline model for our Play and Learn Center business. As mentioned in previous call, our family education app, I Love Growth, an online service platform to provide high-quality educational content and products, has already attracted more than 300,000 registered users. The app helps make structured parent-child interactions and home education times easier for parents to manage, while also providing our franchisees with added opportunities to engage with parents and students to increase program loyalty.
未来我们期待进一步建立和推广数字化战略，探索新的盈利途径和发展策略，并通过提供优质的教育内容和产品及服务，继续为我们的孩子、家庭和社区做出更大的贡献。
In the future, we look forward to further building out and promoting our digital strategy, exploring new monetization avenues and growth initiatives, and continuing to contribute to the greater good of children, their families, and communities by delivering high-quality educational services and offerings.
的CFO 顾浩为我们介绍第2季度的财务业绩情况。
With that, I'll turn it over to our Chief Financial Officer, Chris, to provide highlights of the second quarter financial results.
Thank you, Grace and Serena. I will now go through our second quarter financial results. Please also refer to our earnings press release posted on our IR website for a complete discussion of our financial performance. In the second quarter, the company's revenues came under pressure as the prolonged facility closures were observed due to the COVID-19 impacts across the regions that we operate. Our net revenue for the quarter was 12.8 million, which is a 76.2% decrease from the same time last year. And our operating cash outflow for the quarter was $5 million. However, we actively executed stringent measures to reduce expenses and expenditures and control our cash outflow. we carried out multiple rounds of optimization to improve labor efficiency at headquarter level, especially in our back office departments. We also implemented strict protocols for professional fee services expenses, travel, and other expenses, while we also defer non-essential capital expenditures to preserve the company's financial flexibility and liquidity. At the end of the second quarter, we had a total of $48.3 million of US dollar of cash and cash equivalents. We believe that we still have sufficient liquidity to navigate through the COVID-19 impacted period. Our directly operated facilities have started to resume operation in the second quarter. With the upcoming semester starting in September, we expect to see in Dalian, facilities in other regions and areas operated have also reopened. Thanks to the comprehensive planning beforehand and the meticulous advanced preparation, we're happy to report a satisfactory attendance rate, or what we call rate of return to our facilities, of approximately 80% as compared to the pre-COVID-19 enrollment levels. Additionally, for the facilities in Beijing, related government authorities have also recently announced a clear schedule for reopening in early September. Our faculty and staff members have made preparations and we're ready to welcome students back to kindergartens once those facilities reopen. In the process of upgrading our services and our business transformation, we will make use of the advantages of our existing facility network and enrollment, and as well as leverage other resources to achieve better performance and long-term growth. Now I'll move on to the second quarter financials. As I mentioned, net revenue for the second quarter decreased by 76.2% to $12.8 million from $53.6 million for the same quarter of 2019. Services revenues for the second quarter were $11.6 million, compared with $48.2 million for the same quarter of last year. The decline was mainly attributable to decreased tuition fees due to the temporary closure of our facilities in China. Although over 60% of direct operated facilities have gradually resumed operations starting from late May, they remained closed for the most part of the quarter. Franchise services revenues also decreased due to the slowdown of Play and Learn Center franchise network expansion and lower revenue generated from franchisees, as the vast majority of them have just resumed operation this quarter. Product revenues for the second quarter were $1.2 million, compared with $5.4 million for the same quarter last year. The decrease was due to much smaller merchandise sales through the company's franchise network, as they have also just resumed operations during the late period of the second quarter. Cost of revenues for the second quarter was $22.3 million, which is a 46.4% decrease from $41.6 million for the same quarter last year. Cost of revenues for services for the second quarter was $21.8 million, compared with $38.8 million for the same quarter last year. Again, the decrease was mainly driven by a decrease in direct costs, as those facilities remained temporarily closed during most period of the quarter, and various cost control measures have been taken by the company in response to the pandemic, such as reducing labor costs and discretionary product revenues. Gross profit for the second quarter was $9.5 million, compared with gross profit of $11.9 million same period last year. Total operating expenses for the second quarter were $5.4 million US, compared with $6.6 million same quarter last year. Excluding share-based compensation, operating expenses were $4.6 million, which is a decrease of 18.6% from $5.7 million for the same quarter last year. Selling expenses for this quarter were only $100K US, compared with $700K US for the same quarter last year. General and administrative expenses for this quarter were $5.3 million, which is a 10.2% decrease from $5.9 million for the same quarter last year. Excluding share-based compensation, general and administrative expenses were $4.5 million for the second quarter, which is a 9% decrease compared with $4.9 million last year. The decrease in G&A expenses, excluding share-based compensation, was primarily driven by the decrease in G&A expenses in China as a result of our efforts on cost control. The share-based compensation expenses included in the G&A expenses were $0.8 million for the second quarter. Operating loss for the second quarter was $14.9 million, compared with a $5.3 million of operating profit for the same quarter last year. Adjusted operating loss was $14.1 million for the second quarter, compared with $6.3 million of adjusted operating profit last year. Net loss attributable to ordinary shareholders of the company for this quarter was $12.8 million, compared with an income of $2.9 million last year. Adjusted net loss attributable to ordinary shareholders of RYB, which excludes the impact of $800K of share-based compensation, was $12 million for this quarter, compared with a $3.9 million of income last year. Basic and diluted net loss per American Depositary Share attributable to ordinary shareholders for this quarter were both 46 cents, compared with the net income of 11 cents and 10 cents respectively for the same quarter last year. Adjusted and diluted net loss per ADS attributable to ordinary shareholders for the second quarter were both 43 cents, compared with 14 cents and 13 cents for the same quarter last year. Our EBITDA for the second quarter was a loss of $10.2 million. Adjusted EBITDA for this quarter was a loss of $9.4 million. Based on our current estimate, for the third quarter of this year, the management expects the net revenue to be in the range of $27 to $28 million. This outlook is based on the current market conditions and the management assessment of our business recovery, which is still subject to change given the dynamic impact of the COVID-19. Thank you for your attention. We will now open the call to questions. Operator, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now begin the question and answer session. To ask a question, you may press star then one on your touch-tone phone. If you are using a speakerphone, please pick up your handset before pressing the keys. To withdraw your question, please press star then two. For the benefit of all participants on today's call, if you wish to ask your question to management in Chinese, please immediately repeat your question in English. At this time, we will pause momentarily to assemble the roster. The first question comes from Elsie Sheng of Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
Thank you, management. I have a question about your 3Q guidance. What rate of offline resumption that you assumed to get this revenue guidance, and what rate of student returning to offline? Thank you.
前面呢我呢已经谈到了一些哈，就是那么我在这儿呢我做一些重申和补充说明吧。近几个月以来呢，国内大部分的地区疫情呢基本上趋于稳定了。到6月底呢，我们大部分的直营幼儿园和绝大部分的加盟亲子园呢都已经顺利恢复运营。在这个过程中，我们的孩子们和家长给予了我们充分的肯定和信任，同时呢也为了确保安全复原工作顺利有效的进行，我们的教职员工也做出了很大的努力。
Let me start answering this question. So in recent months, we see most parts of the country have contained the outbreak of COVID-19, and as a result, by the end of this second quarter, most of our directly operated kindergartens and most of our franchise PLC centers have successfully resumed operation. In the process, Our students and their parents have entrusted us and shown us tremendous support. Our faculty and staff members have also made great efforts to make a safe return to facilities not only possible, but also smooth and effective.
截止2020年6月底呢，我们超过75%的直营幼儿园园所以及大约70%的加盟园所都已经恢复开源了，而且回园率呢7月底达到了80%，也符合我们的预期，充分说明了孩子和家长对我们的信任。此外呢，北京地区的园所教委也明确了在9月上旬的开园时间，我们也将不遗余力的坚持做好相关的安全防疫的工作，按照教委的要求和措施实施，始终呢把孩子和家长的健康安全一定放在第一位的。
So to be exact, at the end of the June of 2020, 75% of our directly operated kindergartens and about 70% of the franchise facilities have resumed operation. And the rate of return to facility is generally in line with our expectations, and we've see that rate to 80% by the end of July. The numbers reflect the enrollment loyalty and also the trust of parents in the process. For our kindergartens in Beijing, the Education Bureau also announced a definitive schedule for reopening in early September. As we always put the health and safety of our students as priority, we'll continue to spare no efforts to meticulously follow epidemic prevention guidelines and implement measures and requirements by related educational governing departments.
我来介绍一下9月份新学期我们直营园所的招生进展情况。疫情出现以来呢，我们一直积极主动的做线上线下结合的招生方式，通过园所的各种的微服务公众号等这些平台来保持与这个在园学生家长、缴费未入园家长的有效的沟通，那么增加转介绍的比率。已经复原地区呢，我们就是线上咨询推广，以线下结合方式；没复原地区，我们是全面线上推广方式。我们也会持续的推动招生活动的开展。
So as I mentioned earlier, the enrollment of our directly operated kindergartens for the upcoming semester starting in this September. To begin with, given the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, we actively introduced ways of enrolling students via both online and offline channels. We keep an effective and continuous communication through kindergarten-specific official accounts and service apps of the facilities with students' parents, including those who have already started attendance and also who have already registered but not yet started attending, and also prospective students and parents. Our communication efforts not only keep current parents updated regularly, but also might have contributed to a boosted ratio of referrals. Some of our directly operated facilities host a hybrid of online consultation and offline site visits for parents, where those facilities have resumed operation. And in other, where the kindergarten operation has not yet resumed, we adopt a fully online enrollment strategy.
另一方面呢，招生工作呢也是服务中的重要部分。那么线上的一些前期有意愿的家长的有效的服务呢，也会为开园以后的线下的接待做好良好的这种基础工作。
The enrollment and admissions related efforts as an integral part of the service that we provide, the online recruitment and a feeling of effective service in the early stage towards potential parents lay a good foundation for the future conversions once the facilities start to resume.
从招生结果来看，大部分地区的园所招生情况都达到了年初的预期，进展顺利。但我们招生工作呢是一个持续性的工作，我们会更加主动的推动招生活动的持续进行，从而呢将我们多年积累的教育资源和宝贵经验与更多的孩子和家长分享。另外呢，部分地区受制于疫情影响， 以及其他因素的影响，招生推广活动不能很好的全面的开展。针对这些呢，我们已经逐园制定方案，我们相信经过努力，这些园所的招生也会达到我们的年初的预算目标的。
The enrollment number and most of our directly operated kindergartens has met our expectation respective to the annual budget made at the beginning of this year and is making smooth progress. We intend to carry out with more proactive and strategic enrollment activities to promote admission and to be able to share our accumulated educational resources and experiences in early childhood education with more students and parents. Some areas are still subject to ongoing impact of COVID-19 and other factors. So as a result, enrollment promotion activities cannot be carried out 100%. For these areas, we have planned for corresponding enrollment strategies and believe that each facility, their facility enrollment will start to pick up once operation is resumed, and over time will eventually meet the expected number of enrollment set at the beginning of the year.
针对今年暑假的特殊性，我们制定了相应方案，提升各地暑期出勤和服务，通过线上线下结合的方式开展了小游衔接课程、毕业季的专项活动以及校下主题活动等丰富的内容。我们延迟大班的毕业时间，秋季小班呢也提前入园，提供其他各类的暑期服务来满足家长和孩子的要求，关注学生的假期生活并给予指导和帮助，拉近师幼距离，为提升入园率做了充分准备。
In addition, what we also have done to boost summer attendance, including the following. First, through the integration of online and offline resources, facilities offer preschool bridging courses, special graduation activities, and summer theme events. Also, we have postponed graduation for the graduating class and an earlier kindergarten entry time for the incoming class this fall. Other services during summer vacation at the facility to meet the requirements of local parents and their children, and also provide guidance and help to students during summer vacation, keeping the teachers and families close and ready for facility reopen.
Thank you. As a reminder, if you have a question, please press star then 1. The next question comes from Frederick Lying of Venture Capital. Please go ahead.
Thanks, operator. I have 2 questions. The first question is, Ms. Shi mentioned about the launch of early-year-old childcare business, which many other market players are trying to develop as well. Can you give some more information about the childcare business, such as current status and plan? 刚才石总提到了这个托育业务，我也了解到实际上市场上有不少企业都在尝试开展这个业务。我想请这个就是管理层能不能具体的说一下这个相关信息，比如说这块业务的发展现状和一个未来的计划。然后我的第二个问题是刚才这个 Morgan Stanley 的分析师其实问到了这个直营园的情况，那我知道实际上这个加盟业务也是咱们这个非常重要的一块业务，我想请教一下这个加盟业务的一个恢复情况以及未来的展望。Can management comment on the recovery of the franchise business during the COVID-19 period so far, and how should we think about its outlook? 谢谢。
好，感谢啊。就是那我先来回答一下关于您提到的托育业务的我们的发展情况。后面的加盟这部分到时候由我们顾总来回答。因为原来的季度电话会上呢，我就原来提到过哈，就是经过对市场需求我们进行的深入分析以后呢，我们选定了托育这一个新的赛道，并且已经进行了试点工作，开始启动将托育业务以合伙人这种方式推向市场。
As I mentioned on previous conference calls, that we have selected early years childcare as one of our new initiatives after thorough investigation and analysis of the evolving market conditions and demands. We've also started to promote the brand after a period of 3 years of preparation.
2019年5月呢，国务院办公厅出台了关于促进3岁以下婴幼儿照护业务发展的指导意见，鼓励以这个为婴幼儿照护呢创造安全适宜的环境和条件，营造婴幼儿照护服务友好的这种社会环境。那这项政策对托育行业来讲，是具有积极和重大利好的，对家庭、社会和机构都是有推动力的。
Last year, in May, the General Office of the State Council issued the guidance on promoting the development of care services of infant and children under 3 years old. The guidelines and other related regulations aim to build a safe, suitable, and service accessible community for infants and children under 3 years old, which is highly in favor of early years childcare business development.
我们的托育项目前后准备了3年多，在课程、培训、管理和保教医3者结合方面呢，形成了完善独特的内容和实施方案。那么有了这样的这个积累之后，才正式推向市场。
So before our early years education business launch to the market, we have actually started preparation since a little bit over 2 years, almost 3 years ago. We have gradually accumulated experiences and certain know-hows in content, curriculum, staff training, facility operations and management, and also in building a program with special considerations to combining care, education, and medical care and treatment.
我们在政策支持下呢，结合集团原有的亲子渠道优势，我们的服务能力呢将获得进一步的完善和拓展。目前我们的托育业务发展势头良好。2019年下半年呢，我们就开设了2家直营的托育中心。本月8月份，我们就是今年疫情之后首次启动了2场这个托育的推广会。签约量呢就将近50家，市场反响是非常好的。2020年剩余的时间，也就是您提到的接下来的发展，我们预期呢托育业务将成为集团的又一个核心业务，将会大力支持资源倾斜的去推动发展。
With supporting policy environment and combining our strengths in network presence, we're confident to see further growth in this service option. In the second half of 2019, we actually set out 2 directly operated early years childcare centers for the pilot period. In August this year, we launched 2 marketing and promotion events and signed up close to 50 new contracts. Market reception at this point is very good. In the second half of 2020, we look forward to a greater performance from the early years childcare business operation. Thank you.
Thank you, Serena. So I'll take the second question about the recovery of our franchise business and how we think about its future development. So indeed, our franchise centers, our franchise partners, were also heavily impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic since its outbreak in the first quarter and pretty much throughout the entire second quarter. So I think the priority of our work during these 2 quarters are basically to try to maintain the stability of our network, of our franchise network, and provide as much services and support as we possibly can to help our franchisees navigate through this difficult period of time. So specifically, I think Grace have also briefly mentioned on the call, but we have adopted several measures, supportive measures to help franchisees. Firstly, we shared online high-quality education content with our franchise partners. Recently, we also put more effort on the online content updates of our iLove app application, as well as embed various educational programs into the iLove app to improve user experience. We also believe that the educational content and improving user experience will help our franchisees achieve unique and effective communication with their members. So hopefully the trust built in this process between the franchise centers and their members will contribute to additional course purchases and even referrals of new members in the future. And secondly, I think we also provided effective supervision services and other training services online to our franchisees partners across the country. And very importantly, because during the COVID-19 period, the local governments have announced a series of provincial policies. So we worked with our franchise partners to help them clarify their question in this regard, and also help them obtain, take advantage of these preferential policies, such as rental reductions, etc. And also to show our determination to fight against the pandemic, together with the franchise partners, we also decided to waive a total of 3 months annual fee for our existing franchise partners. So that's basically the supportive measures that we took. So in terms of the scale of our network or the number of franchise centers by the end of the second quarter, we had a total of 1,162 franchise centers, and this number is, we still see a slight increase from the number that we had at the end of last quarter. So basically, again, our franchise network is still stable at this point. And also, in the prepared speech that we mentioned just now, by the end of the second quarter, the rate of the franchise kindergartens that have resumed operations achieved close to 70%. And as of now, I think by the end of the third quarter, i.e., by the end of September, this ratio can achieve close to 90%. So I think with the situation of the COVID-19 gradually getting under control in China, we expect our marketing and promotion activities will resume gradually as well. In order to resume more swiftly, our sales team has drafted a series of sales and promotion plans. For example, a few weeks ago, our North China sales team have rolled out a series of promotional activities to convert the sales. So looking into the rest of the year and also into 2021, in generally speaking, I think the fluctuating macroeconomic environment and the evolving early child education market and the recent COVID-19 epidemic might still continue to cast impacts on our franchise, play and learn center business. But I think in the long run, having in mind the evolving market conditions, we still believe that the early educational spending has been and always, will continue to have a significant part of our family expenditure, and that we are facing only short-term challenges, and we will have, greater opportunities and potentials in the long run. So I think we will, continue to take advantage of our existing strengths in regions and cities that our existing operations already have a good presence. We also believe that our distinctive products and services will continue to appeal to quality play and learn center operators in the market. And also our centers are also widely distributed in Tier 2, Tier 3, and Tier 4 cities. That said, we will further, enhance our competing advantages in these regions and continue to open up franchise the centers and also expand to new areas that our brands haven't entered as of now. Also, I think we mentioned in the past quarter that we are in the process of preparing a new premium brand for our franchise PLC business. And we think this effort will hopefully bear fruit over the next few months. Thank you.
Thank you. This concludes our question and answer session. I would like to turn the conference back over to the company for any closing remarks.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone for joining us today. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact us at ir@rybbaby.com. We hope you have a good day and a good night. Thank you.
The conference is now concluded. Thank you for attending today's presentation. You may now disconnect.